everyone, it's Dominique, and today in this video I'm going to show you how to finish off that little card wallet that we were working on. I did a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 alternating colored rows, which is a good enough size for me to fit some cards, ID card, bank card, credit card, library, health insurance, whatever, and a cell phone if you have a small phone. So I just brought it down to the one loop, so that's how I'm going to finish it off. I'm going to cut my color that I finish with. It doesn't matter what color you finish with, and I'm going to yarn over and pull it through. Now my other end with my other color, I'm going to give that a snip and I'm going to make a knot. Actually, yeah, I'll make a knot somewhere in the work. It won't be perfect, but it will do the job. Okay, so your work might be a little curled up, but that's okay. Once you get it all sewn shut, it'll be fine. So you have a choice now. If you prefer it with the inside or the back of your Tunisian crochet facing outwards, you could do that if you wanted. It kind of looks purled in knitting, but it's not. Or you could have the basket weave on the outside. I'm going to have the basket weave on the outside, so that means I want to sew it. You can either sew with a darn needle, or you can take a crochet hook and take advantage of these little gaps and do single crochets, whatever works for you. So I'm just going to sew for the sake of, hopefully it will be a little bit faster. So I'm going to use both colors to sew. And I should keep it nice and tight. So I'll thread one in at a time. It should fit. If not, I can always go back after and do two colors. The second color, sorry. Okay, it's not going to fit, so that's fine. What I can do is I'll just double it up and knot it at the end. And the reason why I'm folding it inside out is so when it's right side out, you won't see my terrible sewing. So I'm just going to line it up. I'm not too worried about these bits and pieces because they'll be on the inside, or I can trim them shorter or weave them in as well. And I'm just going to sew back and forth. I'm not doing anything fancy. Okay, so you're going to keep going around sewing your little wallet closed, and just make sure you fold it in half as best as possible. You want it to be as even as possible because that affects where your button's going to go. Oops. I'll probably have to rethread my needle soon because I shortened the length by folding my yarn in half. But at least where I have two or a double strand, I know it'll be secure. I'm new to sewing, so I don't really know what kind of stitch I'm doing. So I know there's like a blanket stitch, which is maybe what I'm doing. You can just go in and out. You could do back stitch. Now you don't want to pull too tight because then your work will bunch up and your wallet would look a little tight in some places. So you want it tight but not too tight. So you really want to line up the corners as well. We'll see if I have enough yarn. Probably not, so that's okay. Okay, I'm going to cut it off here because I'm not able to make enough loops or stitches, and I'm just going to knot it tightly without making my work bunch up. Stretch it out a bit so I know the knot will stay in place. Going to use that other bit of yarn. Now you can use, as I mentioned before, you could use, depending on how thick your yarn is, of course, you can use darning needle, which is pretty pointy, so be careful, sharp. You could use a wooden one, and my wooden needle is on another project, a granny square blanket that I have for someone for Christmas. So you could use one of those. I just find they're very big, which is great, and they're not sharp, which is also another bonus, but they don't necessarily always fit into the holes of my work. So that's the only downfall. Unless you can get a different size, I'm not sure. So I'm just starting where I left off. And I'm just going to finish it off here.